But today there's a lot of action. We got Rich Voss sitting in for Jim Norton, who's up in Albany doing his comedy thing this weekend. And we got CBS this morning.
Yeah.
Charles Osgood show, right?
I guess so.
We got a reporter out there. He's taking notes on his little notepad, and he's going to be interviewing us after the program to
setting up the cameras
to talk about indecency, I guess.
What are they doing? An FCC thing?
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to talk about our hobbies or anything.
I wonder if they'll bring up the Hot 97 debacle.
They just might, Anthony.
With the tsunami song.
So the CBS crew is out there with their cameras and everything. They're going to come in here and start rolling the famous B-roll.
Ah, yes. Okay. Clear the board because they're going to have to get a shot of that.
Yeah.
Clear the meters.
They're going to need to show the meters going up and down, and then they're going to have to get a shot of the on-air sign.
On-the-air sign. Yeah, they need that shot.
So just so make sure the shit dick sign is right next to the on-the-air sign.
Yeah, I'd like to see him put that on CBS.
CBS. You're
a little rough.
There he is right there. You're doing the story, right? And is it going to be on this Sunday? Because our listeners want to know.
I'm on the producer. It's going to be on February the 6th, the Super Bowl. It's sort of the anniversary of the wardrobe malfunction.
It's going to be during the Super Bowl?
I heard about that.
It's going to be on the morning of the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Right.
We're on Sunday morning. Super Bowl's on Sunday, February 6th. We're on from 9 to 10:30 across the country.
Yeah, I know. I watch every Sunday.
Doesn't that interfere with the pregame? Like runs from, I think, midnight the night before all the way through.
Yeah, it runs a long time. But you're terrific to do this. This is an interesting
You kidding me?
story.
I'm a big fan of the Charles Osgood CBS this morning. I watch it every Sunday morning.
Good. And now
I love when you end with like the sounds of nature, like a little stream and it's snowing.
We leave you.
That's you?
That's you?
Sunday morning.
This guy wants to take credit for doing the footage of that. Or the birds just chirping in a tree because it's early spring and you just sit at home with your coffee and your New York Times. Yes, I read the New York Times on Sundays only. And you sit there like, you feel all good about yourself.
We leave you this Sunday morning with the sounds of Vermont.
Right, exactly.
And then they just show. Do they have to send you all the way over to like Vermont if they need sounds of Vermont?
Huh?
You go everywhere.
Yeah? And
Could
then,
you go to this canyon and get a picture of a chipmunk and bring it back? Because we want to leave people with the sounds of chipmunks.
right, and then you feel like you want to live there. You're like, I want to move there.
I gotta go there.
And then you walk out your home and you hear, you son of a bitch!
Sunday morning, here's the sights of Sunrise, Arizona. And you're like, oh, look, sunrise in Arizona. It's very peaceful. Meanwhile, this guy's like, oh, where's my next ticket for? I gotta go, oh, no, an iceberg.
Right.
How am I going to get that?
The sounds of an iceberg moving. Do you have 100 years to kill?
We leave you with the sounds of a tsunami. Ah, look, I will not
Partake in the sounds of a tsunami.
Oh, there we go. They're rolling what they call the B-roll.
Yeah, the B-roll.
This is the stuff that they go to when the voiceover is happening.
Excuse me, sir. Those two people are not that important, so you don't need to film them at all.
Let me explain something about national TV and Rich Voss. Okay, let me explain something. What a big act I am. The fact that I would get up this early to do this bullshit. Let me tell you something. I'm big. All right. And
yeah, you're so big. He's not even panning
I know.
over.
He's not even panning over. Sounds are bigger than me. Look, we were going to put Voss on, but we have leaves turning colors.
Aren't you? Yeah. Aren't you contractually obligated to a different network?
Not at all.
No, you could be on CBS.
What are you kidding?
No, he's not allowed to be on CBS.
Yes,
So just
I
pan
am.
away from him.
I thought he was a big star.
Let me explain something.
Here's this. he's sticking his head in the camera.
Putting his head, he's moving the camera.
He doesn't want it.
You're such a nothing, boss.
Here's the sounds of an idiot trying to sound intelligent.
Voss thought he actually wanted to videotape him because he said, Rich, could you look into the camera? But he was just white balancing off his teeth.
Have you ever seen bigger, faker teeth in your life,
These
sir?
are nice teeth.
That's right.
You like his teeth?
Almost as nice as mine.
Yeah? All
We'll
right.
leave you with chipmunks in the studio. Big choppers? No, nothing?
Nothing.
I was trying.
All right, so now we have to feel all uncomfortable because they're rolling
Yeah.
B-roll. Are you going to roll B-roll for a long time or just for a few minutes, right? Okay.
He's going to get all kinds of different angles.
All right.
Is there sound on this, or are they? Yeah.
Oh,
Got
really?
sound and everything?
Yeah, that's the sound guy. Look at him.
Because usually it's during voiceover. They usually, we'll tell you what, because we've done these kind of things before, seasoned veterans. And what usually happens is we'll say something really bad and outrageous they'll have the sound up on that, and then they'll turn it down and do the voiceover of, how horrible they are.
Yes.
Oh, is this the type of entertainment that people need to listen to?
And we always get, kind of rooked into the whole thing. Everyone is all nice and happy, and they're just rolling B-roll.
The staff is always very cordial, and we definitely appreciate that. But then sometimes we get on the air and watch the program, and when everything was all nice and fine, and then we see the program, this is the type of filth that is being broadcast on satellite radio.
It'll be out of context. All of a sudden, Anthony's like, "I love anal," and that's all they'll show.
Yeah. They'll just show me going, anal sex, like that, and then it'll cut back to, ugh. This despicable stuff is actually going into outer space, bouncing off a satellite.
Your kids may be listening to this.
Should the FCC regulate satellite radio? Banging chicks! Oh, God, jeez. We had to get that line, right?
Yeah, well.
Couldn't get our in-depth conversation about the war in Iraq or anything.
We talk about weight loss. You're talking about weight loss and how, how unhealthy it is.
How unhealthy weight loss is,
no, I mean,
idiot.
You know what? I was going so well.
You certainly were.
Things are going so
good.
good.
The camera comes in and you're all, humna. Chef of the future. Chef of the future. You are a Ralph Cramden stuttering, muttering ass.
He just turned off the camera because of that, Jesus.
This guy retired.
Here,
having weight loss, unhealthy, smoke cigarettes, die.
I'm cooking up Pop-Tarts so I look a little more all-American, Anthony.
Oh, very good. You're not going to pull out a Wheaties box and show your all-American Opie boyish charm?
Yeah, well.
Looks like a young Gandall.
What?
Nothing. He was
okay.
Lord of the Rings. You know what? This is the
Gandall?
Is that his name?
It's Gandalf.
Oh, he was good. I liked him. Gandalf.
Hey,
it's only a word.
I like the other one, the Hobbit. What was his name? Fribble?
It's only a word.
I was with Voss. I'm like, wow, good reference.
You thought it was...
I love that.
I mispronounce everything,
I know. Who cares? People know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
And then the thing with the ring, Gelman. What was his name? You just know nothing. Your references to popular culture are horrid.
Anthony, a very busy day on the phone is Ezra calling from Boston. We know a little bit about Boston, don't we, Anthony?
Of course.
From the improper Bostonian.
Ezra.
Yes.
What's up, man?
Ezra is calling in because he wants to talk to us about something. I don't know. I don't know what it was. Something about pranks in Boston or something like that?
Yeah, I'm working on a story on pranks in Boston, and I want to talk to you guys a little bit about your April Fool's prank involving Mayor Menino and how that unfolded.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Well, we decided to just do it during the show because we were very busy with the CBS crew today after the show, so we figured this was better than nothing.
All right, cool.
So the story's about that particular prank or pranks in general?
Pranks in general in Boston, involving a lot of them involving the colleges. But
what kind of other pranks are there?
Harvard Lampoon has pulled some good ones.
Yeah.
Like kidnapping Jon Stewart and things like that. But
kidnapping Jon Stewart?
What about the year they put the car on top of that dome there?
Oh yeah, MIT is big on putting stuff on top of their dome.
Yeah.
But
one year it was a car. One year it was a huge. What was it? Like that thing you put on stupid people? That
a dunce cap?
Like a dunce cap.
They put a dunce cap up there?
On top of the dome.
Oh, MIT is just known for their sense of humor. Those guys are a scream.
They put a cow from the Hilltop Steakhouse up there, but that's about as far as they've gone with.
I guess when you're not getting laid, you got plenty of time to do plenty of other stuff.
Yeah,
you have time to assemble a cop car on the roof of the dome.
Yeah, Boston College just laughs at MIT like, ha, we're getting laid every night while they're doing silly stuff.
Yeah. Meanwhile, who's going to be making all the money when they get out?
I'll tell you about a prank that involves one of my brother's best friends. He was going to, I think, MIT, and the Charles River froze over. This actually made People magazine, and it was my brother's one of his best friends growing up, and they took his whole dorm room and put it out in the middle of the Charles River.
I heard about that one.
When it iced over. I mean, everything, his bed, his desk, his just everything he had in his room.
Jackasses.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And that made People magazine one year, back in the mid-'80s, I guess, or something like that. So
What's his name?
David Cook, I believe.
Cook.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Well, you want to know about the mayor thing, huh?
I want to know about Menino and specifically the pies. I'm curious about that whole aspect of the
Are you
story.
serious?
Retribution, that was. That was the retribution phase of that prank. You know how every April Fool's the jocks get on the air and start trying to pull gags on their listeners? I don't know any listeners that actually fall for this anymore. They're the dumbest things, like, look, we changed format, and they'll play like 5 Elvis songs in a row and say, we went all Elvis. Or they say if you look out your window at noon, you'll see a meteorite in the sky. They try to get their listeners to do things.
Or another radio station, what's that little hill in Boston?
There's a little hill in Boston?
Yeah, what is it? Blue Hill or something? What is it called?
Beacon Hill?
No, not Beacon Hill. It's
Bunker
more.
Hill?
No, it's more in the
Gandall Hill.
It's more in the.
Gandall.
It's more. It's more in the suburbs of Boston, and one radio station claimed that it was an old volcano and it was going to erupt.
It's going to erupt.
Oh, Blue Hills, right? Yeah.
Yeah, all right. That was another one, and then your $5 bills are no longer usable. They're worthless now.
That was a good one.
So that throws everyone in a panic. Like, what are they going to do with their $5 bills?
What about the other one? My wife was killed by a black guy. Was that an April Fool's gag?
That was an April Fool's, I believe.
And then I'm going to jump off the Tobin Bridge.
Yeah, that one was pretty elaborate.
Gotta love Boston. I love the racial sensitivity in Boston. It's
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Oh, look at that.
So, we decided, well, actually, Opie decided. He always says I blame him for things that get us fired, but this one is totally his.
But you could speak up any time. That's what I don't get. Because then I'm looked at as the psycho.
I was brand new to radio. Just been in it for as long as we were at WAAF, so I was just damn happy to be there. I wasn't making any waves. I liked my job. I didn't want to go back to construction.
I woke up in a really bad mood, and there was no dog around to kick, so I'm like, I know what I'm going to do today.
So, instead
Get Anthony on the phone.
Instead of doing one of these lame April Fool's gags or listening to the other jocks and their gag, we figured we'd just blow the whole thing up and say that Mayor Menino was dead. And see how far we could take it, knowing it was April Fool's, knowing that the context of our show is not a news show, so no one's really going to take it seriously. And we'll just kind of have fun with it and totally take that April Fool's gag to the umpteenth level. So Ope calls me up and suggests we do this. I just woken up, as usual, and I'm groggy, so I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. And we get in, and we started the ball rolling. Just kind of got on. And
it took a while, because we kept looking at each other going, are we really going to do this?
You are such a professional broadcaster with
What?
a mouthful of Pop-Tart.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I think it was about an hour into the show, we kind of teased that we had news about the mayor, and then we decided, we looked at each other and went, all right, let's give it a shot.
Let's do it.
And then
we had a fake news report. We had some guy with a real good, deep radio voice who's actually still doing radio in the New York area. We'd never ratted him out. He put together like this fake news report, guy on the scene at the mayor's car wreck. He said that he had wrecked in his car. Now, the problem was he was on a plane back from Florida at the same time we had done this, so no one could get in touch with him to confirm that he was dead or alive. So it kind of had more legs than we had hoped. And
you had no idea that was going to be the case when you...
No, we didn't know. We knew he was out of town, but we didn't know he was going to be on a plane on his way back during this whole thing. And the story got progressively more ridiculous as it went along. Like, at first it was just he was in an accident, then he was killed, and then he was also with a young Laotian boy and a prostitute. Like, we just made it get more and more outrageous. Patrice is here, too. Patrice O'Neill.
it's a party today.
Yeah.
He's carrying 2 briefcases that have sex toys in them.
Sex toys in them, by the way.
How much is that in the window?
Oh, Jesus. That is not appropriate. Look at him.
Oh,
Sorry.
We are just a big man. Yeah, so we had been doing that, I guess. It lasted about an hour, I guess. And we started getting complaints coming in. Our program director started getting phone calls from the mayor's office saying to stop this immediately. They didn't find it very funny. And we didn't stop it.
Yeah, I don't know why, but
He came in,
we didn't stop it.
bitched at us, told us to stop it. We didn't stop. We kept it going. By the end of the show, I think the news had already started picking up on it.
Oh my God, there was already a crawl on
TV about our prank. The next day, we were back on the air, and the news now full force about how the mayor was so pissed off that we had done this. His family had heard that he was killed and were upset. Now, meanwhile, we were on like it was a hard rock station. I mean, really, teens and young men were all that was listening to this. I doubt the mayor's family was really paying attention or taking it seriously. You know, yeah, you could switch to BZ up there in Boston and not hear a word about it, but Opie and Anthony on WAAF, we're breaking the news about the mayor.
Right.
So it snowballed, which these things do. If you saw what happened to Hot 97 down here with that tsunami song, things snowball. The press gets a hold of it and forget about it. Nothing looks worse than something that was funny in the context of a show written out with quotation marks around it in a transcript. It totally changes the whole mood of what was going on. So the mayor thing blew up on us. The press got a hold of it, ran with it, and the mayor decided that we had to go in order for him to stop. I don't know if he could have brought an FCC complaint against us. I doubt it. They say that you're not allowed to get on the air and do anything that will take away emergency resources like police or fire.
It's called the hoax rule.
The hoax rule.
Yeah, it really is.
Named after James Hoax, I believe, who first did it. No, it's the hoax rule.
Which
no hoaxing.
Yeah.
You can do hoaxes. You just can't have it interfere with emergency services like police or fire. They were saying that what we did take resources away because the mayor, being the head of the city, in charge of police and fire, a little stretch, but they were going to try to hit us with that as far as the FCC went. The mayor said, look, everything will be fine if you just fire these two guys. They did a week-long investigation on who was involved, aside from us, who else was responsible, program director, general manager, and it ended how we knew it was going to end, with us being brought into a conference room at the beautiful Colonnade Hotel and told that our contract was being terminated.
Yeah, they terminated us. They didn't fire us. We thought we were going to get killed, actually.
Yeah.
A mafia-looking dude looked at us and goes, sorry to meet under these circumstances, but we're going to have to terminate your contracts.
Now, what you were talking about happened in the interim between the time that we did the prank and were fired. The people were scrambling at the station to try to save our jobs. One idea that our program director, Dave Douglas, who was just a tool, had was to get a hold of the mayor, tell him we have an idea how to smooth things over. They'd have us go into the middle of town, get in those olden time stocks that they used to put people in that were bad in the middle of town, and the mayor would then throw pies at our faces, and this would solve everything.
Is this the worst radio idea ever?
That has hack written all over it. So we hear about this, and me and Opie then go on the air, because they actually let us on the air for a couple of days after this prank happened. And this is, again, it's textbook. It's what happens when DJs screw up. Management will let them go on the air the very next day because they're hoping it blows over. Then once the press gets a hold of it, it is over, Johnny. You are off the air, suspended, they call it, right up until you're fired. And by the way, when you're suspended, you're already fired. The company's just figuring out how to contractually, pay you and who's going to replace you. So you're already fired. So they figured they would throw pies at us. We got on the air after we heard this idea and just said no. There is no way. And this is after our boss was telling us, this is what we're doing. We're going to smooth things out.
Oh, they already bought
the
pies. Oh. It was on like a forklift. Because, they even bought way too many pies. There was hundreds of them.
Hundreds, yeah.
And it wasn't like...
They ordered the pies, and did they consult Menino on this? Did Menino agree to hit you with pies?
They were grabbing at straws. They were like, oh, get the pies. Order the pies. All right, then we'll go talk to Menino. He's got to say yes. They were freaking out.
They were so stupid. They were just convinced that the mayor... They didn't have to talk to the mayor. He was just going to agree to this. And it wasn't...
You'd say, well, as long as you've got some pies.
Yeah, and it wasn't the old school pies that you see on some of these old TV shows where all of a sudden someone gets pied in the face live on TV.
A pie tin with whipped cream, let's say.
These were real pies that would do damage, man. It was
frozen.
It was like literally frozen apple pies, right?
They might as well throw a disket at your head.
They couldn't even get the real pies.
Did you say disket?
I said a disc or whatever.
It's a discus.
Whatever, discus, discus.
Retard.
Discus.
Discus.
The producer over there,
Hey, threw a Triscuit at him.
the producer from CBS is just amazed at your stupidity.
No, every
He
now
is
and then-
having such a good time in that
First of all,
corner. We're leaving him
every ti-
alone, but he is just amazed at you.
Every time I look at him, I think it's Joe Franklin. First of all, I screwed up a couple words because I'm under a lot of pressure here today.
Joe Frankel.
I can't wait to see this story, and you're not even one shot.
Not even involved.
It
Cut
doesn't
him
matter
right
to me.
out.
When I'm at the Oscars in a couple of weeks, I'm going to call.
Yeah, and Norton is just beyond bummed out today. He's like, I am missing the one day that you guys are getting national TV.
Jimmy Norton, a huge part of this program, and he's not even here for
And
the
Bumble
express
Lips
we're gonna-
just came in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got this guy.
I made two
Dyslexia.
mistakes. A couple. What did I call it? A disket?
A disket.
Yeah, so getting back to Ezra from the Improper Bostonian, who's on the phone writing a story on Boston pranks.
Yeah.
They also hired a PR firm to try to smooth things over, and one of their bright ideas,
This
besides
is after the mayor said, "Hell no."
the
pie thing.
Well, there was two other things besides ordering the pies for the mayor. They decided that they needed a photo op with the mayor shaking the hand of Bruce Mittman, who was the general manager of AAF at the time, who was a midget in real life. He's like 5'4", I think.
Very short man.
So they hired a photographer, and they got the mayor's schedule. This is a true story. And the midget, we love the guy, actually. We love and hate him, actually.
Yeah.
He was kind of in hiding behind a bush. And the mayor comes out of one of his things he was doing that day, and Bruce Mittman, God love him, man, comes running out of the bushes with the photographer in tow and just grabs the mayor's hand and starts shaking it like, hey, Mayor Menino, pleasure to meet you. Doesn't even really say who he is or anything. And, of course, the mayor's, like, shaking his hand, and the photographer's like, ka-chee, ka-chee, ka-chee. And now they want to get that picture on the Boston Herald with the caption, see, the mayor's okay with AAF.
Yeah.
Here's a picture of them making up.
Mayor and AF general manager
So
shaking hands.
that also went horribly wrong. I don't think that picture ever. No, it did appear. I believe it's out there somewhere.
It didn't help. We know because of history, nothing helped.
Right.
We were thrown off the air and escorted to the Connecticut state line and told never to return.
Right. So then now they're not giving up on trying to save our jobs. The mayor's like, absolutely not. I'm not throwing pies at two dopey DJs.
Now we still have a bad image and a bunch of pies. So what to do? What to do? They figured they would let us and a photographer again go down to a children's hospital.
Children's Cancer Kid Hospital.
Terminally ill children, and present them with pies.
Because that's going to make everyone just happy.
Yeah, they're going to love us. They go, O&A, they said the mayor was dead, but look at what great guys they are, giving pies to dying children.
Yeah, but you end up in a diabetic section.
Yeah.
And this is and this is April, and so now we got the forklift of pies in the lobby of this hospital, and the kids are coming out from all angles, like
We didn't even know.
we
didn't even know it was a children's hospital. We were going to the hospital to drop off some pies, they tell us, to some people. We get down there, and it's like it's a children's hospital. It's a terminally ill children's hospital. So they start coming out of the woodwork, and we're like, no.
one looking worse than the other.
This is
it's
not
This
happening.
part is not funny. I mean, this is reality. They were just, wow.
I want to meet Carl Yastrzemski. Tough kid. Here's a pie.
Right.
Yeah, here's a pie. I want to live to see Christmas. Pie? Yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks.
And they're setting up. They're just setting it up as a big, huge press thing. The photographer's ready. They got the pies all organized. It's a photo op. The kids are gathering around the pies. We're going to present them with the pies and get a nice shot, throw it in the Herald, and we'll get to go back on the radio and talk about Whip 'em Out Wednesday, everybody.
Yeah, sure.
So then we're wondering why it's taking so long to get the photo op together. Because at this point, Ant and I are really, honestly, just confused about the whole thing.
Yeah.
We're like, what is really going on here? And they're all like, well, we got to wait for Billy.
Yeah, Billy.
Billy was the one that was in the worst shape. Billy had like a round-the-clock nurse hooked up to all sorts of machines in a wheelchair.
Oh, it brought
and
him out
here comes Billy.
It was like Captain Christopher Pike in that episode of Star Trek when he was just in that machine. Beep, beep, beeping once for yes, twice for no.
No, I mean, basically the buzzkill. I mean, to be honest, the kids.
Like we had a buzz in a terminally ill children's hospital in the first
but
place.
the kids, most of them are, understanding the situation. They got a good attitude about them. But then here comes Billy, and you could just see what little happiness there was in the room just go, and now it's like, oh my God.
We just
what
had to
is
go.
going on here?
We had to go.
So then Anthony and I are kind of hanging out with each, next to each other. And then there's this one of the supervisors is like, they're going to sing a few songs before we take the picture. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever, we're here. And this one girl gets up and never forget it. Kind of looked like Cindy Lou Who from the Grinch. No joke. I mean, right out of the freaking movie. And she starts singing.
Silent Night.
Was it Silent Night? Silent Night. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is really weird. It's April and she's singing a Christmas song. And I'm like, wow, this is really strange. And looking at Anthony, we're like,
Christmas song.
kind of looking at each other like, Christmas song. That's when the supervisor kind of leans over to Anthony and I and whispers into both of our ears at the same time. You see, Cindy's not going to make it to Christmas.
So they were singing Christmas songs in spring.
So Anthony and I at this point were like, that's
okay,
it.
done.
We get it now. No effing way. I think it was you. Looked
Yeah.
right at the photographer's like, if one effing picture shows up in a newspaper, we're going to, I don't
the
know
idea
what
of
I'm saying.
exploiting dying children, try to get our dopey jobs back. The way management went about the whole thing was so sleazy. It came off so sleazy that we just we hung out, gave the kids the pies, the secondhand pies, and left, and threatened the photographer like that he was not to snap a picture. And then it was just at that point, I think we were just, please just fire us, let us move on with
get it
our
over
job,
with.
because this whole trying to save our job thing is just getting sleazy. And they gave us the boot. We ended up getting a much better, more higher paying and more lucrative job at WNEW in New York.
One other thing that is of interest, we had the news crews following us everywhere, and it was one of the most surreal moments. I'm at my apartment in Wellesley watching the news because now we're dopey DJs and like, wow, look at us on TV, and it literally was probably the first time we really got real TV exposure.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool, even though you knew you were in deep trouble. And all of a sudden, I'm watching the 11 o'clock news, and I'm like, wow, that house looks really familiar. and I forgot the reporter's name. Is the guy that used to have the thick mustache. I think he ended up shaving it, and it was a big deal up there, by the way. And
Slow news day.
and the reporter's doing this report from someone's front yard, and I'm like, that house looks really... Oh, my God, they're right outside.
We're here at the home of Greg Opie Hughes. You can see him peering out that window right there.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell by the pies on the front lawn.
Right. But it was so surreal. You're not really thinking. You're like, oh, my God, what? And then I'm looking out the window, and there's the guy doing his live report. And,
Newsday, I guess.
Yeah, and they have footage, the famous footage of them knocking on the door earlier and
no comment.
And my girlfriend at the time opened the door in a bathrobe, like, no comment, closing the door, they have all
Should have
that.
thrown a discus at his head.
How do you not miss anything?
Oh, with you, it's easy.
Yeah, it really is. Even I'm in on the game
Lying
there.
out of your mouth.
And then we got whatchamacallit outside the studio that day as well, near the elevators. Trying to give our
couple more of the
trying to give our
local
apology.
stations. Yeah, they asked us for an apology. We really weren't good at apologizing back then. We've gotten no better at it. But back then, it's nothing worse than when a news camera's in your face asking you, would you like to apologize to the mayor, or anybody, really, and you're smirking and grinning and laughing, goes, yeah, we apologize. It just looks so bad, so insincere. And that's exactly how it did look. And, well, the rest. We got the boot. But look how things worked out. We learned from that mistake, and lasted 3 more years before we got thrown out of another station. Before we got thrown off the
were there any
entire
other
medium.
things that you came up with that you either before that or since then, where you said, okay, this is gonna go over the line in some way? We should stay away from this.
We thought a couple of things were going to get us the boot. The biggest one was the Voyeur Bus. We had a bus with plexiglass sides, a real full-size bus, and it was gutted and set up like a little apartment with glass sides, and we had nude girls driving around in it. And we had a bunch
Teenage.
of... Well, some of them were 18, 19 years old.
Officially the bit was called Teen Voyeur Bus.
Teen Voyeur Bus. And,
they were of age, though. They were 18, 19.
And when Giuliani was in office, he was always... what a stick in the mud he is about anyone having fun. So we figured we'd have this bus with some people in it from the show. Jim Norton, Louis Black was on. Rick Delgado, who is now in trouble for the Hot 97 Tsunami song, he was on the bus.
And you were supposed to go on the bus.
And I was
that
supposed
day.
to go. Thank God I didn't go. We figured we'd take the bus down to the mayor's office, and have the girls shower in the bus right in front of the mayor's office, and then drive back up 6th. It worked. We went down there.
We announced the route, too.
Yeah, it was like a parade route.
Or route, depending what you like. I say route myself.
Route.
And people were buying disposable cameras all over Manhattan, and they were on every single block.
It was like a parade, because how often do you get to see nudity just driving down the street?
And we had our reporters on the bus, and it was
CNN crew was on the bus.
It was around Christmas time. This was our Christmas present to New York City.
Yeah, that's how we presented it. Here's our present to you. So, we figured we'd get them back up on 6th Avenue and have them drive back up to the station. And they noticed 6th Avenue was very deserted.
Well, but going down there, I just want to add the first sign of trouble was when we decided to let the CNN reporter on the bus.
Yeah.
I guess they just happened to be in the area doing a story, and they saw this thing roll by. They're like, what the F? And we're like, yeah, come on the bus, thinking CNN will do a nice positive story on Opie and Anthony.
Story on nude teen girls driving down Broadway.
We were really stupid back then.
Wow.
I mean, we're still stupid. I know that. But we were stupid. We're like, hey, look, CNN's going to do a piece on us.
CNN, this is going to be so positive for us. Right. We have teen nude girls driving down Broadway, New York.
Right.
This is great. What the hell were we thinking?
I don't know. And the story was so ugly. Another surreal moment. I'm on vacation skiing in the middle of nowhere, somewhere up in I think it might have even been Killington. And all of a sudden I'm watching this CNN report about some dopes in New York, not even thinking it was about me at first. And also I'm like, uh-oh. And I call that thing like, this isn't good.
This isn't good.
Yeah, but anyway.
Why was the street clear?
Well, the street was very deserted, 6th Avenue, when they drove up, and there was a lot of police blockades. Yes, Opie?
Well, because I know you're going to the punchline, but really fast. Then the reporter's on there, and we decide that it's not good enough that there's naked teen girls in this bus where all of New York, including probably underage kids, can check it out.
Anybody who was in time. We drove it through Times Square.
Right.
Not a very populated area in the city.
And this is where we're just so stupid. We always have to, make it even worse for ourselves. We're like, hey, I got an idea. Whoever came up with it, why don't we stop the bus in front of the in front of the town hall,
the mayor's office,
office downtown, and let the girls take a shower.
Yeah. So they showered, 2 girls in a shower,
Touched the pie off them.
Right in front of the mayor's office.
Yeah,
like that's gonna be okay, right? Now we're just shoving it in the mayor's face.
That was
look what we could get away with.
Salt in the wound.
So then we think what happened was the CNN reporter ran off the bus because she left the bus right around that time.
Yep.
It was Julie Mose or whatever her name was.
Can't remember.
The one that does the
Jeannie Mose or
Jeannie Mose.
Jeannie Mose.
Jeannie Most. Okay, yeah, she's does those stupid fluff pieces. So I guess what we've heard is that she ran in and showed the mayor, look what is going on in your city.
Yeah, showed the mayor the clip and was like, how do you feel that this radio show is having nude women shower in front of your office? And he went to the bat phone, man.
Oh,
he went to the bat phone.
Did
Police commissioner, everybody.
And at this point, we had NYPD guys, because they were all fans of the show, helping us out. They were literally escorting the bus all the way down to the mayor's office.
Doing crowd control.
But wasn't
Yes. We were driving up 6th Avenue.
This is where it gets good.
The bus is driving up 6th, very deserted, police blockade. And it turns out...
we were the only vehicle on the road.
It turns out, and I don't know how they got on it.
That should have been a sign. You know those dopey cartoons where all of a sudden there's a car and all of a sudden it just veers off?
Hey, where are the big crowds of people that were looking at us down Broadway? It turns out that President Clinton, who had landed at Kennedy a little earlier, his motorcade was headed up 6th Avenue. And
so they had this this whole street blocked off for him.
Presidential motorcade, bus full of new teen girls on 6th Avenue. Well, the vehicles that swarmed around this bus, it was the black SUVs, all the big New York City brass, not just the uniformed cops, just swarmed.
These guys had uniforms you never want to see.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all seen the NYPD uniform, obviously. These guys had things on their uniform that you just don't want to see ever.
It was really
all
bad.
sorts of medals and like they were from another country, you know?
Got on the bus, everyone off, got the zip strip handcuffed, cuffed them all, brought them down to booking.
12 to something like 12 or 13 people were arrested. They ripped the bus apart because one of our guys was bragging that he hid his pot on the bus. It just was the worst.
Yep. And they stayed in jail for How long?
I don't know, like 36 hours.
36 hours. They couldn't even find anything to book him on. But, you know, it was one of those things where Giuliani was so pissed off that he told the cops just, you know, keep them in there as long as possible.
And he had to have a press conference, and he had to say to everybody watching, "They're stupid."
Yeah, that the mayor then got in front of a podium with the police commissioner and was asked this question. And they said, you know, what do you think about this? And he just looks and goes, "You say it's stupid. It's just stupid." And it's one of my favorite clips, watching Giuliani say how stupid we are.
Yeah, that was
it.
great. Really fast, because there was another one, footage, news, and pics on FoundryMusic.com. Thank you.
There you go.
FoundryMusic.com or OpieandAnthony.com, hopefully. It will be. It will be linked to OpieandAnthony.com for the new listeners, because it is a lot of fun to check out. But you can go to FoundryMusic.com right now to check it out. Anyway, real fast, because Ben just reminded me of another prank we did in Boston. The year before the mayor's prank, we did a Pearl Jam thing up in a fictitious town called no, it's Jaffrey, New Hampshire, right?
Yeah.
Jaffrey, New Hampshire, which is a little town up there over the Massachusetts border. And we said that Pearl Jam was doing a surprise show at a bar called Larky's.
Yeah, take a hint. It's called Larky's.
Okay.
And we kind of gave directions to where it was, but it was very vague. It was like on the corner of a street, and
near a gas station.
Near a gas station. We gave these vague directions, and it was just, you know, a small club, so you got to get there quick because it's going to fill up. First come, first serve. And of course, you know, Pearl Jam back then, just the hugest band.
And people are like, well, Larky's, I've never heard of Larky's. Well, it's a bunch of clubs, and the club on the ground floor is called Darky's. Remember?
Yeah, and
it was so obvious how
club.
Right. Darky's, and then Larky's was on top of that.
Barky's.
Yeah, whatever. And then I guess I wasn't up there, you know, officially, but all indications are that a couple thousand people showed up for this surprise Pearl Jam concert in the middle of nowhere, and they were just kind of driving around in their cars trying to figure out where the place was, and the cops are calling, begging us to stop because it's a major problem up there. And of course, once again, we're idiots. We're like, no, we ain't stopping this. This is just fun.
That's what our problem has been for years. We never knew when to stop. Like, we would just do these pranks or something and think it was the best thing ever. And the boss would say stop it, or the cops would say stop it. For some reason, we would just, no.
Yeah.
We're not stopping.
Yeah. So then after our show, we started doing breaks for the other radio show after us that make them believe we were in the middle of the concert, you know, doing reports for the radio station.
Yeah, we went into one of the other studios, started blasting some live Pearl Jam behind us.
We didn't even have live Pearl Jam.
Really? Was it Studio Pearl Jam?
It was Studio Pearl Jam, but we thought, all right, we'll just
play it loud enough.
No, we had sound effects of like a crowd,
yeah,
you know, screaming and applauding or whatever, and we threw that, figuring that would work. And they bought it, man, big time. So then we felt the next year we had to outdo ourselves, because that's what, unfortunately, the life we lived for many years, where we had to always outdo ourselves. So, all right, we did the Pearl Jam thing last year. What are we going to do this year to top that?
Wow, that was the beginning of the outdoing phase of the Opie and Anthony show. We would always have to outdo ourselves, and people still speculate if we hadn't gotten fired for the sex at St. Pat's debacle, that we would have had to have sacrificed a baby live in our studio.
Yeah.
Well, you can do that on satellite, right?
Well, yeah, XM allows us. As a matter of fact, we have that scheduled for next week, baby sacrifice.
Yeah, I think that's on Monday's show, yeah. So.
All right, well, thanks a lot, guys.
I hope you got enough for your little story there.
I did.
You should email Ben, let us know when the story comes out so we could, you know, kind of check it out on the air, and we'll also tell our listeners about it.
Okay, sounds good.
It's Ezra from the Improper Bostonian. Thanks, Ezra.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right.
Go Pats!
Go Pats.
Go Pats, go.
Everyone loves the Pats up there.
He just bullshitted you. He's not doing a story. A little prank he pulled on you guys.
Gotcha.
That was just fun to go down memory lane, Anthony.
Once again.
April Fools, I told my daughter when she was 7, I go, I bought you a bike. And I go, April Fools, and she just started crying.
Oh, you are a bastard.
I know. I had to go buy her the bike.
What was it, a Schlinn bicycle?
Came with a basket on it.
Well, yeah, you put the brisket on the front.
A disket.
A disket. Yeah, I saw Gollin throw a disket. His magic disket.
But it would have been funny if I said, Biscuit.
We got
You are the best.
We need to take a break. That was a long, long segment right there.